Coming up on this episode, street dining, Copenhagen in a cultural craze for one night only, Halloween for kids, and the Danish version of Google Translate or Bone. I'm Sabine.
And I'm Tim. Welcome to mydenmarktv.com.
This episode of mydenmarktv.com is made possible by CopenhagenClicks.com, a fantastic and ever-growing site full of web resources dedicated to helping you get the most out of Copenhagen and the rest of Denmark.
Well, Sabina, a few days ago we joined an absolutely fantastic and very quirky event called street dining.
Street dining? What exactly is that?
Well, I think we'll just roll the segment rather than trying to explain it.
Okay.
Enjoy. So I'm here on Odenseerskade with Sebastian Overgaard, and we are street dining tonight. This is going to be quite something. We're heading up to Vanderdomsvej, and we're just going to let the camera roll, and we'll tell you exactly what's going to happen in a little while. So what's for dinner tonight, Sebastian?
What?
What's for dinner tonight?
It's some kind of hippie dish with lentils, and tomatoes and stuff, and soy sauce and stuff like that.
Pasta.
Very nice.
Also spaghetti.
Very nice. And a fine wine from Chile?
I don't know.
Very nice.
It's organic, yeah. And so this is wine from all over the world, and this is actually like the concept that we want people from all over the world also to do street dining, and not just look at this and say, oh, that's a funny idea, and then do something else.
But you've had a lot of on Facebook. You've had a lot of reaction to this.
Yeah, exactly. We started like 3 weeks ago only. It's just cool. We have like 300 actually.
Yeah.
300 fans of this. It's really amazing.
And how did you get the idea? How did it start?
Actually, it's a 10-year-old idea.
Yeah.
But now I just thought now I have to do it.
Yeah.
And then it was actually not very planned. Like we just planned it, like it took a day.
Yeah.
And then we made the Facebook page just half an hour before we went street dining. And then suddenly people were just like liking it and contacting. And actually Jennifer, who's sitting here, I don't know her. I don't know Nick.
Yeah.
I actually met them through the page.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
So it already worked.
Yeah.
And they're from the States, and so it's already gathering people from around the world.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's of course how we found you as well, through Facebook.
Yeah, you found us as well on Facebook. Yeah. Like, I work with social media and the impact of social media. So for me doing this, it's really cool to see how you can use it to create a more fun and open-minded world.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it really has some potential, I think.
Well, I'm going to let you eat, and maybe we'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
To street dining.
Cheers to street dining.
Yeah.
Great. Bon appetit. People are smiling, they're so happy, and it's from everywhere that they see you. They're smiling.
Yeah. So we spread happiness.
Tak.
How's the food and wine?
It's really
delicious.
Yeah.
It looks great.
We're just talking about he's going to be a world famous chef.
Yes.
with this lentil dish that I don't have any friends who likes it actually.
We think
We like it.
it's going to be the national street dining dish of Denmark.
The lentils, and that was your dish.
Yes.
It was. We're gonna put the recipe on street dining on Facebook, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, perfect.
I just have to figure out what the recipe is.
I have to tell you, this is the most fun I've had filming an episode in quite some time. Street dining, you can check it out on Facebook. Just Google street dining Copenhagen, Sebastian Overgaard. It's very easy to find.
So, Tim, I would say you're right. That was pretty quirky.
It certainly was. I have to say, I think my favorite part was when the police pulled up And, you know, we all thought, okay, now this is over. But they just said, you know, well, enjoy your meal and
They didn't even ask you to
on.
pull out the permission to have this in the street?
Actually not.
No? Wow, that's great. Great. And we have two other great events to tell you about. The first one is, like I said earlier, Copenhagen in a cultural craze. That would be Kulturnatten on Friday the 15th. Later in the show, we have an interview with the organizers, so stay tuned for that. The other one is Halloween coming up later in the month. But the coming week, Tivoli is going to be open again for the kids for a great Halloween theme. Get in your Halloween costume, celebrate with your kids, and just check the link below for the opening hours.
So you'd recommend getting in your Halloween costume and going to Tivoli?
I for sure am going to go. Aren't you, Tim?
Okay. So, on to Vladimir.
Hi, this is Vladimir Chen. I'd like to ask you a question. Have you ever been in a situation when you didn't know a certain word in Danish and you wanted to translate it? Well, yes, there is always Google Translate. But in today's episode, I'd like to review a service made in Denmark which is called Ordbogen.com. Ordbogen.com is the largest online dictionary of Denmark, and it can translate to and from 8 different languages, including Arabic, English, French, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, Swedish, and German. They have some political as well as synonym dictionaries. Right now, the stable desktop version is only for Windows-based computers. But Ordbogen now developed the beta version for Mac and Ubuntu operating systems. You can install an add-on extension to your browser such as Internet Explorer, Firefox or Opera. You can also install Ordbogen on your iPhone or iPod. I like their simple suggestion tool. Yes, Google can also translate to and from Danish, but the main difference between Google Translate and Ordbogen is that Ordbogen provides some example sentences, which contain a word you need translated. This helps a lot to better understand the meaning of the word and therefore learn the language more effectively. Ordbogen is not a free product. Online access to English-Danish, Danish-English dictionaries cost 151 Danish kroner a year. However, you can get 2 words a day translated for free, which can be handy sometimes. Give it a try if you've never used it. Now, we're excited to introduce the launch of CopenhagenClicks.com, where you can find many more of such tools and web resources. Go to CopenhagenClicks.com or click on the link below to learn more. That's it for this week. Enjoy!
We have a big announcement to make before we move on, and that is that we have a new team member, Nima. Welcome to the show, Nima. We are very pleased to have you here.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
We've been looking for a new host for a little while, and we met a lot of very interesting candidates. So it wasn't an easy decision until we met Nima, and we just knew that she'd be a great fit on the team and that you would love her. So Nima, how is it to move from London, the big city, to Copenhagen?
A bit of a change.
I can imagine. I actually made the same move myself about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I kind of know it's a bit of a shock, I think, isn't it?
It is, definitely. I mean, it's difficult to compare the two cities as they are worlds apart. London is busy, it's fabulous, it's what you want it to be. I do love it. However, Copenhagen, as they say, it is truly wonderful, and I have a special bond with Copenhagen, and that's why I've come back.
Well, now I think it's time for Hygge.
This week we're giving you a close-up on one of the biggest events here in Copenhagen, Kulturnatten. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this happens on Friday, where thousands of people will be wandering the streets during the late hours, creating a fantastic atmosphere and a great vibe. Here's how the organizers describe it. So Lotte, what was the motivation for Kulturnatten when it started 17 years ago?
The motivation was to open up all the cultural institutions in Copenhagen to the people who normally don't go that much to museums and other cultural institutions. And we wanted to open up at night where people are not at work. And we wanted to show how interesting the museums and the cultural institutions are with special events just for this night.
What part of Copenhagen geographically is part of this Kulturnatten?
Actually, it's all of Copenhagen. People are just like on the streets everywhere, and you can see them with these badges, which you buy when you buy a ticket for the Night of Culture. And actually, I guess it's the best to buy a program and just study the program and say, okay, I would like to do this. We have an English version.
Okay.
If you don't buy a program and if you just like to wander around in the streets, you can watch. You can look out for balloons. This is a sign of that the event is a part of the Night of Culture. It's really a very special, nice evening of the city where you can see a lot of things that you normally don't see in the city nightlife.
So thank you so much for joining us on the show, Lotte.
You're welcome.
Now, if you don't have a chance to join Kulturnatten yourself on Friday, be sure to check in on our next episode, Wednesday, where we'll bring Kulturnatten to you. And now, let's check our mailbag.
So this week we've got a question from Kai Müller. It's a good German name, isn't it? And he writes, does Denmark have any traditional types of food that are specific only to some areas of Denmark? Well, Sabina, as a Dane, maybe you want to start this one off?
I could sure pick that up, Tim. I would rephrase the question a little and say, where do some traditional foods come from in Denmark? First off would be Bornholm, the little island. And that would be a lot of smoked fish come from there. That's salmon and mackerel and herring.
Oh, is that where they smoke them in a huge, great chimney?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we have the Bornholmer hane, the rooster. Another little island is very famous called Læsø. That's where the salt is from. Læsø salt.
The traditional Danish salt.
Traditional Læsø salt, for sure.
Okay.
And then there is cheese, a very special smoked cheese from the island Fyn.
Yes, and that is a very questionable product, I would say, actually. But, try it out when you come to Denmark, if you're not here already. Or go down to the supermarket and buy yourself a little box of it. And of course, there's certain areas where you're more likely to be served a certain kind of beer. Like in Aarhus, you're more likely to be served a Ceres than you are in Copenhagen, or an Odense Pilsner in Odense. That sort of thing.
And these are, of course, just a few examples. But anyways, Kai, I do really hope that you could use our answer. And in return for asking this question, Kai gets 30 minutes free consultation with my Denmark TV team.
Lucky him. And you too can also benefit from a consultation with My Denmark TV team. Just click on the link below. It says consult with My Denmark TV.
I think that's pretty much it for this week. If you do have a question, please pop it in the mailbag for us. If you have any comments whatsoever, leave it in the comment area below.
And you can always check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/MyDenmarkTV.
And you can always find us on Twitter also.
See you next time.
Till then, bye-bye. Take care. So, this is like TV shop.